5 aggregates subject to clinging as impermanence, suffering, and non-self. When you observe Sankharakkhanda, some are akusala and some are kusala. Kusala Sankharas are Saddha, Sati, Hiri, Uttapa, Aloba, Adosa. And today we go to Tatra Micca Tatta. This Chetasika, Tatra Micca Tatta means they are in the middleness. They are means among the Chetasikas. It is impartial, it is neutral. When you are in the middle, you do not fall into either group. You are impartial, you are neutral. Tatra Micca Tatta is a synonym for equanimity, upekha. It is not as neutral feeling, but as a mental attitude of balance, detachment, and impartiality. Whenever you find the word upekha, you need to be careful. Many upekha are there. Upekha can mean the upekha feeling, upekha vedana, neutral feeling, neither pleasant nor unpleasant feeling. Also, it can mean these mental factors, which is neutrality of mind, that is not feeling, that is not vedana. Vedana is feeling, upekha is one of the 5 kinds of feelings. This upekha is not vedana. This upekha is not feeling, it is a mental state which is called neutrality of mind. Many yogis have been misled by the word upekha, so be careful. When you find the word upekha, try to find out what it means in that context. Tatra Micca Tatta has the characteristics of conveying consciousness and mental factors evenly. Consciousness and mental factors arise together. They arise at the same time. They must do their respective function. For them to do their respective function properly, they need these mental factors. So it is like a supervisor. It is compared to a driver of a cart drawn by 3 or 4 horses. When the horses are running evenly, the driver does not have to make much effort to keep the vehicle going. The mental factor keeps your consciousness and other mental factors going smoothly. When under its regulation, consciousness and mental factors function properly, it is a time of neutrality. The functions of Tatra Micca Tatta is to prevent deficiency and excess. in doing their respective function, the Chaita and Chaitasika may do their functions in excess. Sometimes they may not do their function well. When they do not their function well, or when they overfunction, then the balance of the mental factors will be disturbed. So this mental state, tatra michatata, prevents or regulates the functions of other associated mental states. So the function is to prevent partiality. Tatra michatata prevents falling into this side or this side. It is manifested as neutrality. It should be seen as the state of looking on with equanimity in the Chaita and Chaitasika, like a driver who looks on with equanimity at the thoroughbreds progressing evenly along the roadway. So we can compare this to cruise control in your car. When you put the cruise control on in your car, you don't have to make effort for your car to go. It is a kind of tatra michatata there. Neutrality of mind becomes the sublime quality of equanimity towards living beings. There are 4 Brahma Vihara, 4 sublime states, 4 abodes for of the Brahmas. Among those sublime states, there is Upekkha. The first one is Metta, loving kindness. Second one is Karuna, compassion. The third one is Mudita, appreciated joy. And the fourth one is equanimity. That equanimity is called Upekkha. That Upekkha is this Tatra Michatata. So Tatra Michatata, you remember, Tatra Michatata is not Upekkha feeling. As such, it treats beings free from discrimination without preferences or prejudice, looking upon all as equal. So this equanimity should not be confused with its near enemy, the worldly-minded indifference due to ignorance. That means not paying attention. In the case, it means not knowing. It is ignorance. Upekkha here is not turning away from the object. It is with the object, but it does not fall into partiality. So its near enemy is this worldly-minded indifference due to ignorance. That is something like careless apathy. So when a son behaves badly, son does not listen to his parents, son does not listen to the advice of his parents or admonition. Sometimes his parents may say, I do not think about you, I will not be concerned about you, I do not care about you. the parents may say. That kind of feeling is not this upeka. That is, you are turning away from the object. Upeka takes the object, but takes it with impartiality. So after Tatra Michatata, there comes other universal beautiful Chetasika. These 12 universal beautiful Chetasika mental formation fall into 6 pairs. 6 pairs. Kaya Pasati, Ceta Pasati, Kaya Lahuda, Ceta Lahuda, Kaya Mududa, Ceta Mududa, Kaya Kaminyata, Sita Kaminyata, Kaya Pagunyata, Cita Pagunyata, Kayu Jukata, Setu Jukata. So very beautiful mental state, mental factors, Kusala Sankhara. When yogi reach the stage of Udiyabhaya Jnana, when yogi start to see the rise and fall of Namarupa, the kinds of beautiful mental factors are very conspicuous. Tranquility of mind, lightness in your mind, malleability, proficiency, and rectitude, all kinds of the beautiful mental factors appeared in the state of yogi when they reach the stage of Udiyabhya Jnana. So 6 pairs, 12 factors. Can you follow me in Pali? Kaya number 35. Kaya Pasati. Citta Pasati. Kaya Lahuda. Citta Lahuda. Kaya Mududa. Citta Mududa. Kaya Kaminyata. Citta Kaminyata. Kaya Pagunyata. Citta Pagunyata. Kayu Jugata. Cetu Jugata. So 6 pairs, 12 factors, 12 Kusala Sankhara. So each containing one term that extends to the mental body, Kaya. Mental body, Kaya, and another that extends to Ceta, consciousness. So in this context, the mental body, mental factors, is the collections of associated Cetasika called Kaya, body, in the sense of an aggregation. So you see, Pasati, Kaya Pasati, Ceta Pasati. Kaya means mental body, Ceta means consciousness. So Kaya Pasati and Ceta Pasati. Pasati means tranquility, calm. Kaya here does not mean have the usual meaning of body. It does not mean our physical body. Kaya means an aggregation, a combination. In other words, Kaya here means Namakaya. Namakaya means simply Cetasika, mental factors. Kaya here actually means Cetasika, So Kaya Passaddhi means tranquility of mental factors, tranquility of Chittasika, or you can just say tranquility of Namakaya. And what means Chitta Passaddhi? Chitta Passaddhi means tranquility of consciousness. So the first one, Kaya Passaddhi, tranquility of Chittasika, mental factors, and second one, Chitta Passaddhi, tranquility of Chitta, consciousness. So Kaya Passaddhi and Chitta Passaddhi, the twofold tranquility has the characteristics of the quieting down of disturbances in your mental body and consciousness respectively. So the function is to crush such disturbances. It is manifested as peacefulness and coolness. When there is Kaya Passaddhi and Chitta Passaddhi, yogi will be very peaceful. Your stage is Udiyabhaya Jnana. You can see the rise and fall clearly. You can go along with the Namarupa as they really are. Truly, Namarupa, whenever appeared, you watch it and it's keep going, rising, disappearing, rising, disappearing. Now you start to see this stage, and then your mind tranquil, because you are going along with the nature of phenomena as they really are. So the proximate cause of Passaddhi is the mental body and consciousness. It should be regarded as opposed to such mental defilements as restlessness and worry. If there is restlessness and worry, you not quiet, you not have tranquility. Now restlessness and worry is no more there. There arise tranquility. When there is restlessness and worry, you don't have tranquility of Chittasika, mental factors, and tranquility of consciousness. And then Kaya Lahuta and Chitta Lahuta. Lahuta means light. So Lahuta means lightness, lightness of the Chittasika, mental factors, and lightness of the consciousness. When there is lightness, there is no heaviness. So the twofold lightness has the characteristics of the subsiding of heaviness in your mental body and consciousness, respectively. The function is to crush heaviness. It is manifested as non-sluggishness. The proximate cause is the mental body and consciousness. It should be regarded as opposed to such defilements as sloth and torpor. When you are sloth and torpor, you are very heavy. You cannot stand. But now, no more sloth and torpor. Nothing is very thorough and precise. Nothing is very concurrent with the Namarupa. Then you see the arising and disappearing of the Namarupa, and then lightness comes. When sloth and torpor arise, we become heavy, First, our eyelids become heavy and then they overpower us. So we become a very heavy things, very heavy load. But when yogi are alert, then there will be lightness in your body and mind. And then kaya mudutta and chitta mudutta. So mudutta means softness. Softness here means malleability. It means they are not rigid, they are compliant. So the twofold malleability has the characteristics of the subsiding of rigidity. They are not rigid when they are malleable. So it should be regarded as opposed to such mental defilements as wrong views and conceit, ditthi and mana. When there is ditthi, wrong view, the person is very stubborn. He don't want to give up your view easily. So when he is conceited, when he have pride, he is rigid, he is stiff. So when he have mana, when he have conceit, he don't want to bow down, he don't want to make any agreement. So they are rigid mental states. This pair is the opposites of these mental states. So they are called kaya mudutta and chitta mudutta. Another one is kaya kaminyata and chitta kaminyata. So the twofold worldliness has the characteristics of subsiding and wilderness. The simile given here is gold. When gold is purified, it becomes wieldy, it becomes pliable. You can shape gold into anything without there being resistance. If the gold is hard, it may not lend itself to being made into different kinds of ornaments. So first, the goldsmith has to purify gold by treating it with fire. When the gold is purified, you can make it into any ornament you like. So the state of such a thing is called wilderness kaminyata. It is agreeable to being shaped. It is agreeable to being made into anything. Sometimes it is difficult to get satisfactory words for Pali words. So we would use softness rather than malleability for mudutta, softness. So the function is to crush unwieldiness. It is manifested as success of the mental body and consciousness in making something an object. Its proximate cause is the mental body and consciousness. It should be regarded as opposed to the remaining mental hindrances. which create unwieldiness of the mental body and consciousness. So another one is Kaya Pakunyata and Chitta Pakunyata. The twofold proficiency. This what also causes a little problem. Pakunyata comes from Paguna. Paguna has three meanings. One is straight. It is not needed here because straightness will come later. The second meaning is proficiency. Proficiency means being familiar with. If you are familiar with Abhidhamma, you can say that I'm Bhaguna with Abhidhamma. That means you know this book well, thoroughly. And then there's another meaning, being a good state, being a good condition. So it would fit here. Because when we read the characteristic, it is the healthiness of mental body and healthiness of consciousness. So we can put it this way. Nowadays, people are saying healthiness of mind. Always Kaya Pakunyata is translated as proficiency. So it is healthiness of Cetasika and healthiness of Chaita. The function is to crush an unhealthiness of the mental body and consciousness. During the practice of meditation simply follow the true nature, the Namarupa flowing. You need to be going along with the natural flow of Namarupa. And your mind will, if you see the true nature of the natural phenomena as they really are, your mind becomes healthy. That means you see the impermanence, suffering, and non-self nature of that Namarupa. So the function is to crush unhealthiness of the mental, body, and consciousness. It should be regarded as opposed to lack of faith, etc. When you do not have faith, when you do not have mindfulness and so on, your mind has a kind of disease. Your mind is not healthy. So it is opposed to lack of faith and so on. And the last pair is Kayu Jugata and Setu Jugata. Uju means straight. Ujugata means straightness, rectitude, straightness of mental body and straightness of consciousness. The twofold rectitude has the characteristics of uprightness of the mental body and consciousness, respectively. The function is to crush thoughtfulness of the mental body and consciousness, and its manifestation is non-crookedness. When there are unwholesome states in the mind is said to be crooked. Mind is said not to be straight. is not upright, so it manifests itself as non-crookedness. And the proximate cause is the mental body and consciousness. It should be regarded as opposed to hypocrisy and fraudulence, etc., which create crookedness in the mental body and consciousness. So it is the opposites of such states. So these mental states are listed in pairs here. The explanation given in the commentary as to why these are listed in pairs, why others like Saddha and Sati and so on are listed separately, is that they crush their opposite qualities when they are together. So that is why they are put together as pairs. Kaya pasati, Chitta pasati, Kaya luta, Chitta luta, etc. They are put together as pairs. So these are the 6 pairs, 12 mental factors. When yogi reach the stage of Udiyabhyanyana, these beautiful mental factors of Kusala Sankhara arise in yogi. So practicing meditation, by practicing meditation you obtain a lot of benefits. Now today we have to explain one story by taking part of the 4 foundations of mindfulness. People can overcome sorrow and lamentation. So during the time of the Lord Buddha, King Kosala was once very pleased with his minister Santati success in conquering an enemy. So King Kosala conferred 7 days kinghood on Minister Santati as a reward. Minister Santati spent his majestic week enjoying kingly life and getting drunk all the time. So on the 7th day, he departed the palace for the river, accompanied by many royal attendants. When Santati met the Buddha on the way, he paid respect to him from his seat on the back of a royal elephant by nodding his head. Then Buddha predicted that on that very day, the minister Santati would become fully enlightened after listening to a single verse and then would enter Prinivana. That means he would die. Hearing this prediction, some unbeliever laughed at the Buddha. These non-believer said, it would be impossible for a drunkard to become fully enlightened on the same day. So they were sure Gautama Buddha would be humiliated by his misstatement. So some believer said like this. However, that evening, the beautiful dancer whom the minister Sandati adored most among the court ladies, died suddenly while she was entertaining Minister Sandati. Now Sandati was so grief-stricken that he could find no way to console himself. So Sandati finally went to the Buddha looking for relief from his great sorrow. And Buddha spoke the verse to Minister Sandati, let past defilements wither away, do not yield to future passion, and do not grasp at the present, then the fires of defilements will be extinguished. So there are three period, past period, the last period, previous time. So past mental defilements. Regarding past mental defilements, let them wither away. Future raga, future passion, do not produce, do not yield. These future defilements. And for the present, at the present, do not grasp at the present. Then the fires of kilesa, fire of defilements, will be extinguished. Past is already gone, future not yet come, future not really sure. Past is totally gone, not previous year, previous week, previous time. Just now, 4:30 at 4 o'clock, the past, all the episodes gone totally. Within 1 second, it's gone. So past the 5 minutes, Buddha said, let them wither away. And do not yield to future passion and do not grasp at the present. Only this one verse, Buddha expounded to Sandati. So can you follow me? The Buddha, the explanation to Sandati. Let past defilements wither away. Let past mental defilements wither away. Do not produce to future passion. Do not yield to future passion. Do not grasp at the present. Do not grasp at the present. Then the fires of mental defilements will be extinguished. So regarding past kilesa, past mental defilements, let them wither away. When the Buddha expounded like this, Sandati captured this meaning. Now he is missing, he was missing, he remember all his episode. He enjoyed with the dancer for 1 week. So that kinds of remembering, missing, coming again and again. So that kinds of mental state arise, sadness, depression, discouraged. So what Buddha mentioned, let them wither away. That means you observe fixedly, focus that mental state, sadness, you have to note again and again, but that sadness coming continuously, you know continuously. If you know continuously, that sadness or missing will be cut off. Or you can note the presently arising object. Now you are still breathing, you can note the rising, falling. It is very beneficial. You are very familiar to note it is your home object. Home objects are always there. Whenever you go, there is rising, falling is there. If there is no missing, no sadness, there is rising, falling always there. You can note rising, falling, very precisely from the beginning to the end, not superficially. If you know superficially, you cannot understand the true nature of Namarupa. If you know very precisely, rising from the beginning to the end, some yogi can capture many units within one stretch of rising. Rising, many segments, many units they can discover. So at the moment of noting the rising and falling, no sadness, no depression, no missing to his uh, his beautiful dancer. Now when Buddha mentioned that let past defilements without way, sanctity, pick up the present object and then note sadness, etc. And the future episode, Buddha mentioned, do not yield to future passion. Yes, truly, he is very sad. Now, dancer, beautiful dancer is no more. She died suddenly. And she worried. I cannot meet that beautiful dancer, and I want to stay with her for long, but now she is not there. And the kinds of raga growing up. Now I cannot find the dancer, and I have to stay alone. So he has uh, so sorrow and lamentation. So Sandati tried to observe the kinds of sorrow, note as sorrow. He have to note very precisely sorrow. And when he knows precisely, the kinds of sorrow can be overcome. Or not to think for the future, you can note the presently arising object. Presently arising object. Now you are sitting or standing or walking, trying to note the presently arising object. Sitting, touching. Not superficially, precisely you have to note. When you stand or walk, you have to note very thoroughly. You need to comprehend the true nature of the phenomena when you are noting the kinds of bodily postures. So at that moment, no sorrow, no limitation, you can overcome. So for the present, Buddha said, do not grasp at the present. Yes, present is really there, really here. But when we capture the present, is gone. Hearing, you notice, you capture the present, and it's gone. Seeing and other phenomena the same. Whatever phenomena you note the rising is gone. You note the falling is gone. You note the sadness is gone. You note happiness is gone. So what Buddha mentioned, the present object is very important. You note and capture the present thoroughly, and then you cannot grasp at the present because it's gone. So if you follow that instruction, you do not go to the past, you let all your mental defilements wither away, you do not produce future passion, and the presently arising object you observe thoroughly, and all your mental defilements will be extinguished. So this come from Dhammavara commentary. He said that the minister Santati became an arahant after hearing that only one verse. Then Santati arahant flew to the height of about 7 palm trees as directed by the Buddha. In order to dispel anyone's doubt about his enlightenment. So afterwards, Santati entered Prinivana as a layman. So the fact that the minister Santati became an arahant after listening to just this one verse should not be taken to mean that simply listening to the Dharma talk without practicing meditation can bring enlightenment. So as the minister Santati was listening to that verse of Dhamma, Santati was observing his mind and body. He is noting the Namarupa. He may be noting rising, falling, or hearing, or sorrow, or other mental states he was observing. So this brought about the insight knowledge and the attainment of the path knowledge and fruition knowledge step by step until he became fully enlightened one. So the commentary to the Satipatthana Sutta explained that although enlightenment may occur after listening to a talk, it is impossible to bring about any insight or enlightenment without meditating on Kaya, body, feeling, Vedana, consciousness, Citta, and mental objects, Dhamma object. So you have to note Kaya, Vedana, Citta, Dhamma, or you have to observe Namarupa to understand the true nature, and then you will become enlightened. So people can overcome sorrow and lamentation by taking this very part of the 4 foundations of mindfulness. So it is very beneficial for the yogis, very opportune moment to have a chance to know the true nature of the Namarupa as they really are. So we will continue tomorrow. We have to stop our discourse for today by practicing Satipatthana meditation by observing Kaya, Vedana, Chitta, Dhamma, body, feeling, consciousness, and mental objects. May all yogis be liberated from all suffering. May all yogis realize the real peace in the very near future. So,